that we just checked the cracks on.
Yep.
Back to here, to this gearbox.
Yep.
That then reduces it, or I think increases the speed actually, or decreases it, I can't remember, for the tail rotor.
Right.
So then we come down the other side, check all these bolts, make sure everything's fine, the rivets, check this already, and we come here, make sure everything's tight, the connections all tight. All the electrics are all tied away nicely. And this is the main fan, cooling fan for the engine. This spins round,
Yep.
sucks air in. So we check this, make sure the bolts, make sure this wire's in line with the yellow, the bolts are tight, make sure there's no cracks in any of these fins. Then we look under here, check the tension of the altimeter belt, check the connections on the altimeter, check the exhaust pipe for cracks, check for leaks. This is the starter motor, this is the cog here, spurts out and then grabs onto this and then spins it around and gets you started, then shoots back in again. So just make sure that the starter motor is fine, there's no damage on there. The gear wheel is in good condition. Exhaust pipe for cracks, frame for cracks, engine metal here for cracks, everything fine. Everything's connected, everything's secure. Then we check the oil level.
That big grey box must be the battery.
Somebody who always tightens that up too much. So we just check the oil. Looks a little bit dirty, but it should be okay. Needs to be between 4 and 6 quarts.
Right.
So we clean it off, take it out again. In the meantime, we keep looking at it. So the level's there.
Perfect.
4 is there.
Yep.
So we've got plenty of oil.
Excellent.
Let's screw that back in. It's got a little O-ring in it, so it doesn't need to be over tight.
Okay.
So we'll just nip it up nicely. Check all the electrical connections. Everything's tight. Everything's fine. Indeed, it's a 14 volt. The system's a 14 volt, but it's actually got a 12 volt battery.
Okay.
Everything looks secure. All the connections, all the wires are fine. No leaks. Check the fuel cap tight. Now we just check the fuel. Then we have a general look around the aircraft. I'll check the tail rotor. And then we're ready to go.
Okay.
So we check the fuel. It just glows ever so slightly blue.
Ah,
So
yeah.
you know you've got the right kind of fuel. You just check if there's any water in it. The water will always sink to the bottom.
Yeah.
And you can see little drops of water in the bottom there. You can see that that's clear, clean, no problem. We don't throw it down on the ground. We put it back in
the top hose.
So this sample was from the gas collator, which is like the little filter. This one is from the main tank.
Ah, and you can squeeze it.
You don't squeeze it, you push it in. It's got like a valve there.
Ah,
you push it, fuel comes out, you release it, spring loaded, it shuts itself off.
Right.
Again, you can see that there's no oil, no water in there, no contamination. It's a nice colour, it's clear, everything's fine. So we'll pop it back in the tank. Pop this back on, make sure it's secure. This is the pitot tube. We make sure that this cowling here has got bolted on, everything's fine, there's no cracks. Pitot tube is clear. This is critical for airspeed. Okay, this is the fuel sample. This has got like a clip on it to stop any dregs falling into this compartment.
Yeah.
So you open that little clip there, hold this over there, and then just push up the lever when you can find it.
So that dumps fuel to test it, if it's got any contamination in it. There we go.
And you pull it down, make sure it doesn't drip at all anywhere. Make sure, but when it's pulled, it stopped going. And once you've checked that, you can just pop that back down. Just flick off any loose edges, a bit like going to the toilet, really.
Yep. And we check
Check the fuel again. See, there's no waters, no contamination. Everything's fine with the fuel.
So we pop that back
Pop this
into the
one
top.
back in here. And then we put that, secure that back round. Okay, that's that finished with. Have a quick look there. Let's check the fuel there, check that one. Make sure these are tight, secure.
Gotcha.
Everything is ready to go. Pop these back under the seat. Always put the seat belts back on.
So when you fly, do you
Wait a
fly?
minute, can I just do one more thing, Dan?
Sure.
And then I can explain everything.
Okay.
I've got to check the tail rotor now. So again, we just check the little covers there, make sure they're there, make sure there's no leak, check all the bolts, make sure everything's tight. Where there's little cotter pins, make sure the cotter pins are secure. Where there's lines, the paint lines line up with the bolts. But everything is where it should be.
Right.
So we get up here. Oh, yes, well, it's a bit strong for an old bloke of my age. That's why I got the handbrake off. Oh, sorry, the rotor brake off.
Yep.
So then we just check, make sure all these bolts are tight on the hinges. There's little pads under here that show you if you've had any mast bumping, where the rotor hits the mast, which is a major problem. Make sure all these bolts are tight. Make sure the covers are secure. Spin it round. Check everything on the way round. Look at the bolts. Check all these bolts here that the paint marks are all in line.
Yep.
Make sure these bolts are all tight. Check these where there's cotter pins, make sure the cotter pins are in and secure.
Yep.
Okay, level it back off again. Everything's good up there. And that's it. So normally I sometimes leave the brake off, but I think you should usually put the brake on. Especially if there's any wind, you'd always apply the rotor brake. So when
Okay.
you finish with your test, you just pull down, pop the rotor brake back on.
Right.
So that's you. And then normally when you're approaching the aircraft for the first time in the morning, you have a look at it, see how it's sitting.
Yep.
Make sure it doesn't look squashed, make sure the legs don't look as though they've been splayed out or anything.
Yep.
Just check under here, check under these for cracks.
Yep.
Make sure it's sitting straight. Everything's cool. And we're ready to fly.
Okay.